Welcome to the Meaningful Mediation Podcast, the place where leading lawyers and negotiators share their best tips and strategies for mediation and negotiation. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, a full-time Florida mediator and lawyer. My goal is to help you have an effective and meaningful mediation. Each episode will provide you with real-world strategies and tips to help you negotiate and mediate with confidence. Let's get to it. So this next segment is the top 3 tips for better negotiation outcomes. So our previous was about mediation. Now it's negotiation in general, which is a little different. So what would be your top 3 tips for better negotiation outcomes?
I think it's a lot the same. I don't like to I don't like to keep an ace up the sleeve. If I am to a point where you and I are discussing settlement and negotiating, I want you to know where I think my case is strong. And I am laying it all out there. And it's helpful to me if you're doing the same thing for me. If you think that there is a weakness in my case, tell me so that I can convey that to my client and we can have a better negotiation. But if you're holding something back that you think is going to be your ace up your sleeve at trial, but still trying to negotiate with me, you have to give me something to leverage with my clients. Otherwise, we're never going to get this done. If all I know are the good things about my case, I'm never going to convince them to take something less than their best day in court. And so for some reason, I think that there are some attorneys that hold on to that strategy of shock and awe at trial, which may work if you plan on going all the way to trial. But if you're engaging me in settlement negotiations and you want to try to get this resolved, then you need to tell me why I should settle this case.
So it's all about sharing information.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to have to share it with me before trial anyways. We don't have trial by surprise in Florida. So you might as well share it with me now and still waiting until the deadline for expert disclosures or the deadline for exhibit lists or the exhibit exchange. If you know it now, share it now. And maybe this is one that we can get resolved now. I also like to have phone calls to talk about the settlement positions. I think a lot of times attorneys, when we're trying to negotiate on our own outside of the mediation process, get stuck in the email of my client will take this, my client counters you with that, and you're moving back and forth $5,000 at a time, which it has its benefits. But if you pick up the phone call or the phone and say, hey, I had a really difficult call with my client, I'm having a hard time getting them much lower than where they're at, I don't really have a lot of room for movement, so I want to apologize about these $2,000 moves or $5,000 moves. I just don't have the room for that. And you preface what that negotiation is up front. I think that it prevents people from getting stuck on looking at just the numbers. If they really feel from you, hey, I'm trying hard here, I'm really working with my client to get this resolved, but they feel very strongly about this, or they really need X amount to get the work done. They run all the numbers. If you're having that conversation and developing that relationship with whoever's on the other side, I think it makes it a lot easier and more palatable to try to reach a resolution.
So you're providing context and additional information with your numbers.
Yes.
Supporting, they're not arbitrary numbers.
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Meaningful Mediation Podcast. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Additional episodes can be found on YouTube and your favorite podcast channels. Until next time, less dispute, more resolution.